Good morning. Another glorious Monday morning is upon us, my friends, my people. I just had this moment where I thought, I'm coming to you live on Monday mornings, and I tend to be relatively cheery all the time. And mainly because I'm coming live and wanting to have a conversation with you all, so that kind of makes me pretty excited. The thing that came through for me just then as I was talking was that sometimes, the world isn't amazing. Sometimes we live in a world whereby it's not very pretty and we don't feel great, depending on what is happening politically or happening in terms of a pandemic or in our lives. I just want you to know that I don't always feel 100% amazing. I'm not like bouncing off the walls every moment of every day. I just want you to know that. Just in terms of realism, in terms of authenticity, I'm human and I have shitty days. And in fact, this time last week, well, actually Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of last week, I was in a not great kind of space. My ego was running rampant and I wasn't feeling amazing mentally. So I did lots of things to just support myself through that process until it healed, until it cleared. I just loved myself through it. So just so you know, when I come to you live on a Monday morning and I'm like, good morning, it's not like that every single moment of every day for me, and it doesn't have to be like that for you either. But I wanted to talk into a really important topic. Running my course at the moment, it's an 8-week, the six elements to self-love awakening, and we go through all these different processes, and every round you get an opportunity to be coached and healed one-on-one by me. I was having a coach healing session with somebody on Saturday morning, and this particular topic came up around what it's like when we increase our self-worth. The reality is sometimes not amazing. Yeah, like we talk about like having self-worth and feeling more self-esteem and getting love, and it's fantastic, like internally what it does for you in order for you to really love yourself and feel like you're home in your truth is an absolutely sublime, divine, superb thing. It does come with costs. Everything does. Because it's pretty likely that if you have had lower self-esteem or lower self-worth, or you haven't loved yourself for a period of time, or for a long time, or for as long as you can remember, it's likely that the people around you don't tend to treat you amazingly. Now, it doesn't mean that they necessarily treat you like crap. It doesn't mean that the people around you are horrible to you or abusive. That could be the case, and if it is, please reach out to somebody, myself, Lifeline, domestic violence. If that's happening for you, please do reach out and get in touch. You are not alone, and people are here to support you, myself included. It's likely that when we have low self-esteem, that our standards are just much lower of what we expect from people. We don't feel like it's okay to ask for what we need. We're unlikely to set boundaries. When we have that sort of lower sense of self-esteem, it's not going to be a situation whereby we hold people to a really high standard. Because very often, just them giving us attention, very often just them loving us is going to be enough. And they might love us. I tell you what, for the last 10 years of my life, I was in a phenomenal relationship with a beautiful person. And I loved him so very, very dearly. And we were together very happily for a really solid 7 years. Blissfully. He showed me love in a way in which I had never experienced. When we first got together, I was still in a position whereby my eating wasn't great. And I mean that in the sense that I was still binging and purging. It meant that I wasn't 100% well in terms of my self-love, and I was still putting shit on myself quite frequently. I was in the process of learning to love myself, and through his love for me, I learned how to love myself in such a deep way because he just loved and accepted himself as he was. And it taught me so many beautiful things, and I feel like I will love that man until the day that I die. I am absolutely in awe of the lessons that we shared together and the things that he taught me. As I grew, as I came into my self-love, as I increased my sense of self-worth and what I felt I needed in my life, unfortunately, he couldn't come with me. I grew over time and he grew with me, but as time happened and I needed different things. I needed different boundaries set. I needed my standards raised in terms of what I was willing to accept and what I was no longer willing to accept. And as a result, I left that relationship. Still in love with him. I left. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do because my whole life had been centered around getting love from other people. And I got so much love from him that to leave that source of love was one of the hardest things I ever had to do. But the reality is that my own source of love had grown so much that was the love that's the most important to me. That was the love that I needed to follow, because me staying in that relationship meant that, well, I wasn't giving myself the love that I needed because I was settling for less than I felt like I deserved. Hard. That is hard. I had to let go of someone. And really, the truth of that is that I left, and I left Melbourne and left a whole life. That was 12 months ago. 13 months ago, actually, to be pretty accurate. And 13 months ago, I walked away from a man that I loved, and it was only yesterday that I cut contact with him. It was only yesterday that I did that. And the sense of hardship of that, to go, you know what? Every single time I was in touch with him, all those feelings would come back. I'm still in love with him. I'm still heartbroken. In order for me to heal in the way in which I need to and have the big, expansive love and to heal myself, I need to let him go. And I don't know if you can tell, but this chokes me up. Literally, like it brings me to tears to think that I had to let go of somebody that I love so deeply. I love him so much. And I had to let him go because the love for me, the love where I'm going, the direction in which I'm taking, meant that I can't take him with me anymore. And that sucks. It doesn't mean that your relationship's going to end just because you increase your self-worth. It does mean that perhaps some of the people in your world might no longer be a match for you. And that's all it is. There's nothing wrong with that beautiful man. In fact, I love him dearly still. And I feel like on some capacity I always will. It was time for me to move on. It came to that point where I needed to expand myself in a way that was necessary. And that could mean your friends, it could mean your family, it could mean your romantic relationships, it could mean work that you need to move on from. Because when we're in a place of low self-worth, our values are different. When we start to increase our self-worth, when we start to increase our standards within ourselves, then the world around us is going to have to shift. That job that we've been putting up with, we might not want to put up with it anymore. And we find ourselves going for higher positions or positions that feel more aligned with ourselves. It's not that those things are crap. It's not the things that you're better. It's not like that. I'm not better than my former partner, not by any stretch. It's just that we became a mismatch. And we can no longer, the relationship can no longer tolerate the same level because we're not on the same level anymore. That's all that it is. We're not in the same place. So you might end relationships, you might end a job, you might start things. You might decide that the way in which your body is and the way you hurt your body through drugs or alcohol or sex or relationships or food, for that instance, through health, that you're no longer willing to tolerate that for yourself. So you stop eating really awful food all the time. That is a byproduct, by the way. I'm currently working with a young girl at the moment, and she's had a very rough time in life through eating disorders, and I'm very familiar with this. And at the moment it's a binging kind of eating disorder situation, and I've said to her, I'm not gonna ask you to stop binging. That's not my job here. My job is to help increase your self-worth. Because as we increase our self-worth, the behaviors of low self-worth will fall away naturally. This is the power of increasing your self-worth. This is the power of your self-love. Anything that no longer fits into the category of low self-esteem and low self-worth will naturally fall away. You don't have to try to stop those nasty behaviors. You don't have to try to stop hanging out with people that are awful for you. What you need to do is increase your self-worth, your self-esteem, your self-love. And as a byproduct, those relationships, those people, those behaviors, those actions, those thoughts will naturally fade away because it can no longer tolerate that level of energy, that level of vibration. It's just not a match anymore. So I felt like I wanted to share this warning with you today because this is a byproduct. This is a byproduct of coming home to your self-love and coming home to your truth. You might find out that you're gay. You might find out that you really want to live in Spain. You might find out a whole bunch of stuff about yourself through the process, and I want you to know that it's inherently risky because things will change. 100% things will change as your self-worth increases, and it's worth it because the truth, the coming home to living in full alignment with yourself, that's what you are here to do. You're not here to please other people. You're not here to stay in relationships that aren't working for you. You're not here to stay in jobs or have behaviors that aren't working for you. You are here to come home to your truth. You are here to expand into the divinity of which you are because you are. I don't even know who you are, but I know that is true because it is true for all of us. You are worthy, you are divine, and it is your birthright to come back into wholeness and come back into your truth. Nothing is more powerful than that and more important for you to do in your life. I live by it. I hope you live by it. And please, if you have any questions around this, if you are interested in any kind of work that I do, please just get in touch. Grab your free ebook, The 6 Elements of Self-Love Awakening. Just head to my website, www.moreconfidence.com.au. There's a course that goes with a whole bunch of cool stuff, but it's always a pleasure to have you here. I love you being here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, podcast. You can listen to this. Shout out to all of you who are wherever you are on my platforms. If you want to follow me on TikTok, great idea as well. Short videos, fun, all that kind of jazz. I love you very much. Always and forever. I hope that you love you too and can find a space where you love yourself more and more and more each and every single day. Big love to you, my beauties. Bye.